What's going on, everybody? Welcome back once again to the Crew First Culture podcast. Thank you, as always, for joining me today. So, I'm going to read something, and it's going to be pretty obvious where the direction we're headed is going to be. For every minute you remain angry, you give up 60 seconds of peace of mind. That's from Ralph Waldo Emerson. And yes, I am angry. I'm very angry. I did not plan to make this video. I did not plan to really discuss anything like this, especially today, really any point. But I need to. And honestly, it has nothing to do with anybody that may listen to it. I need to do it for myself because I don't want to be angry. I do not want to have any of that inside me. And so I've got to figure out how not to be angry. I realized this morning as I was, preparing to leave shift, just discussing some things around our department. I'm not where I need to be. I've really tried for quite a while, but I've had to try extra hard over the last year or so to be somebody that does not concern or involve themselves with negativity and talking bad about people or really even the department or anything. Now, please understand, I am not saying that I am a person that has been successful in that mission. I have struggled. I have definitely had my hard moments with it. I've definitely been involved in, the negativity, the spread of negativity and all that, even though I wish that wasn't the case. But I will say that for the most part, I feel pretty good about saying that I generally have been able to kind of keep myself away from it and not be that spreader of negativity and be the person that hopefully can kind of stop some of it. But it's obviously not a battle that I'm going to win and never have to worry about. That's very obvious to me. And so, as I was coming home, I started a new book, and I'm sorry I don't have an audio book, obviously. I don't have it, I can't pull it up because I'm recording with my phone, so I can't even tell you what it is titled because I can't remember. I think it was something like, "Why Do I Feel This Way?" or something like that. And it really kind of started hitting home, talking about, naming the feelings and the issues that you have, giving them really not really giving them a voice, but figuring out what they are, where they're coming from. And so that really started making me realize that I am angry, and I don't know what to do with that right now, because I do want to eliminate anger and resentment and honestly any form of negativity. I just want to delete it from my life. I have no purpose for it. I have no interest in it, whether we're talking about at work, at home, whatever. I don't want to be involved in anything negative or anything that is going to cause me anger or things like that. And so I definitely feel like, we can justify anything, and it doesn't take really anything of significance to be that justification if we want it. Our minds are really set up to where if I have something that I have failed as far as, taking my responsibility for, or I, didn't do as well as I should, or I don't agree with this or that, I can instantly come up with a multitude of explanations and justifications and examples of why it should be okay for me to act out. It should be okay for me to be angry. It should be okay for me to, talk about this person or that person, or, put people down, put our departments down. It's just, it's who we are. And I've not seen very many people that aren't wired that way. Yeah, there are people that can avoid it. There are people that are really good at overcoming that, but I just have a hard time believing that there's not at least some of that in all of us. And it's up to us to figure out how to win in that area. And like I said, I feel like overall I've done a pretty good job of winning, but the battle is not over for sure. It never will be, I don't think. And so just, and honestly, depending on how careful or not careful I am with what I say here, this video may never see the light of day. And so I really am going to try to be careful not to say things that will get myself in trouble, because I know that this needs to be shared. And so I'm not going to get into any specifics, obviously, as to the root of my anger on this open platform, but I will say that it's the same stuff that everybody's facing. It is so crazy to me how I can talk to people all over America, and it doesn't matter what state, what city you're in, what region, it doesn't matter. Volunteer, paid, combination, we are all facing the same things. And there's very few people that I talk to that aren't facing similar problems. And so I don't understand that. It's truly amazing to me that is the case. But as far as my observations and the conversations that I've had with people, it's absolutely the truth. And so I say that to really point out that the sources of my anger are pretty self-explanatory. They're the sources of your anger, and those around you that have anger. It's the same things. We trying to be as careful as I can. So really, I think what has brought this to light for me is a piece of apparatus that we received here just recently, and just the questions in my mind of why is this the case? Why did we make it like this, and all that. It's hard for me to just be okay with. But what the heck do I have anything to do with it? I didn't get a voice to decide what it is, and I dang sure don't have a voice to do anything about it now. We have it. And so I've just got to figure out a way to be okay with that. That's all. That's the only choice I have. And that leads into Viktor Frankl, he's got lots of great quotes, and man, most of them just hit home to me. But this one is exactly what I'm talking about. He says, "The one thing that cannot be taken away from a man is the ability to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." That's all we have. That's literally, when we're talking about, especially the things that I'm talking about, our frustrations with work or whatever it is that is leading to resentment and anger, this is all we have. And thankfully, it can't be taken away from us. We have the choice to decide how we approach our day, with what attitude and perspective we bring. And yes, I know it's so easy to say that, but being somebody that has had a lot taken away from me, I look at that statement and it gives me hope that I can have peace of mind. I can be okay with these things that are outside of my control, because I do have this. I will always have this, and there's nothing anybody else can do to take it away from me. I have control over how I choose to approach my day, as far as my attitude, the perspective I bring with it. And that's enough. That should be enough, and it will be enough. I've got to figure out how to make it enough. I'm saying these things to you, but really I'm saying them to myself. And this is truly me working through this thing in real time as I speak with you. And so something else that is pretty eye-opening when it comes to another quote that is pretty eye-opening when it comes to anger is, and I have it from Buddha, but another site I was looking at says that it's unknown, so I don't know where this came from, but it's pretty good. Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it someone else. You are the one who gets burned. That sums it up pretty well right there. Nobody else gives a crap about why you're angry. Nobody else is going to lose any sleep because you may or may not be angry, or you may or may not agree with something that was done, a choice that was made. Nobody else is going to get hurt by it. But if you're the one that is holding on to that anger, you are the one that is going to get burned. It doesn't matter what you are playing out in your head as the justification of what you're going to do with that anger. If you don't let it go, you are the only one that is going to get hurt. I am the only one that is going to get hurt by this. And I feel it. I absolutely feel it. I think that, on my ride home this morning, it was a really thick mix of just frustration and like just trying to figure out how to get away from that feeling of anger, and that mixed with almost shame, as in, why am I allowing something that is out of my control, something that really has no bearing on anything that I can be a part of to change? Why am I allowing it to have this effect on me? Also, what is feeling like this going to do? What is talking in the way that I was talking this morning and even, yesterday, what is that going to have as far as a positive effect on anybody? Absolutely none. It's going to have the opposite. I am playing a role in spreading negativity through my department. And I hate it. I don't want to be that way. I don't want to be that way. I don't care if, there are some things that, we need to do better as a department, or, I don't align mission or mentally with some of the leaders, or we're not making good choices in this or that. It doesn't matter. What matters is the only chance I have to positively impact or influence anybody in that department is if I approach every day with a positive attitude, if I approach every day with an open mind looking for the good in things. And so, I know that, like I said, I'm truly working this thing out in my head as I'm talking to you, but I needed to do it like this because sometimes I just need to share where I'm failing. As stupid as that may sound. Because if I don't share it, I feel like I'm a fraud. Because if I'm not sharing it, then really what I feel like I'm doing is just either ignoring it or I'm giving the outward appearance that I'm okay with it, and I'm not. And so, I'm truly, truly sorry for that. And so I think a couple more quotes that really hit home. And, if you're not big on quotes, I apologize. But like I've said before, I wish that I could come up with the most amazing, short statements that impact everybody's life on everything I talk about. But truth is, 99% of the time, somebody said what I'm trying to say already and a lot better than I would have. So I might as well use those things that have really impacted me. And so this is from Elizabeth Kinney. He who angers you conquers you. So think about that next time that, you start to harbor some anger or resentment towards somebody because they did you wrong, they're going the wrong direction, they are whatever. Think about it from the perspective that the only thing that you're accomplishing is you're basically bowing down to that person and allowing him or her to defeat you. So the very person that you may be, you've got this anger, this resentment, and you're gonna show them. You're gonna let everybody know what they're really all about, or you're gonna expose this or that, or you're going to make sure they get paid back. Whatever. The only thing that is truly going to happen is they are going to win. Because chances are, like I said, they don't care. They don't care. So nothing you're going to do is going to change that. The only thing you're going to do is waste that time. And so I think going back to that quote that I started out with, man, that is something to truly think about. Every minute that we remain angry, we give up 60 seconds of peace of mind. What are you trading your time for? Because I'm not okay with trading my peace of mind, my mental and emotional health of any amount of time so that I can spend it being angry, especially about something that I have no control over. It doesn't make any sense. But whether it makes sense or not, it's hard not to fall into that trap. I think one last quote is another great one, especially when we're talking about, what do we do in these moments? Do we lash out? Are we able to grab a hold of ourselves, take a minute, take a breath, and step out of that situation? So this is for those that aren't able to do that. This is by Lawrence J. Peter. Speak when you're angry, and you'll make the best speech you'll ever regret. And that doesn't have to do specifically with a speech. That has to do with anytime you open your mouth in anger, when you have no control over yourself or your emotions, you are going to say something that you regret. You people people are not able to speak in a state like that, to where they are basically led by anger and simultaneously have a decent, thorough thought process as they're speaking. It does, those two don't coincide. If we're speaking out of anger, then our common sense about what we're saying, or our, the message that we're spitting out, it's not going to be maintained well. There are going to be things that are said that, for one, probably don't make any sense because you're just saying stupid crap because you're mad, or it may be true, but in the end, again, what really is going to happen, what only is going to happen, is you are going to get hurt by it. And so, I feel like maybe I didn't really give any answers, but at the same time, that's not what I'm here for. I hope that when I say things, when I talk about topics, I try to share at least my opinions of what the answers may be. But most of these things that I talk about and share, it's not up to me to find the answers. I can share what answers I have found for myself, but for the most part, the answers I share that work for me, or that I have found through reflection for myself, are not going to be the same for you. And so, again, like I bring up all the time, these are areas that we have got to spend time and truly dig into personally for ourselves. And like I mentioned about the book that I very poorly, led to, the first step is figuring out where it's coming from, and why, what we're feeling, why we're feeling it, and truly giving that some form to it, so that we can wrap our heads around what we can do with it next, how we can start dealing with that, and how we can start making choices that alleviate that. So for me, in my situation, I am going to have to just stop thinking about, the issues that I had. It's going to be difficult because, these things are something I'm going to have to deal with every single shift. But I've got to remember that I have no choice in the matter as far as what can be done about it. The only choice I have is the attitude that I bring in to that firehouse every shift. That's the only choice I have. And I'm so thankful that nobody can take that away from me. I'm truly thankful. And I can personally attest to that is 100% the truth. Because I've, like I said, in times that I have had things taken away from me, very important things, very just things that I have been emotionally and with everything about me tied to. Losing them was really hard, but I still had the choice to show up with a positive attitude. Was it easy? Absolutely not. The situations that I am discussing were some of the most difficult situations I have ever been placed in, as far as me trying to work up the mental, physical, emotional strength that it required to show up with a good attitude. It was pretty easily the hardest thing I have ever done in my life. But being on the other end of that now, not that I've conquered it, but being on the other end of, those really, really hard times of trying to work up that strength to show up with that positive attitude, it is one of the most important choices and actions that I have ever made. Because just by doing that, it truly laid the groundwork to, for lack of better terms, just expanding my influence. Yeah, leadership may have, looked differently back then than it does now, or lots of other words, but influence to me is just like being a leader to me. And it's just like what Viktor Frankl says about your choice to have a good attitude. Nobody can take away my ability to be a leader. Nobody can, unless I give that away. Nobody can take away my ability to have influence and on other people and to impact their lives in a positive way. Nobody can. I can definitely give those things away. I can make choices that, eat away at the influence I have, that truly kind of take away the reputation I have, so that people don't want to look at me as a leader anymore. People aren't willing to open themselves up and to allow me to have some type of influence or impact on them. My choices are the only thing that is going to take those away from me. People cannot take those things away from me. And so I have those to hang on to. I have my choice to come in with a good attitude. I have my choice to come in and be the best leader that I can be. Whether that's formal or informal, it doesn't matter. Leaders are important. And I have the choice to try my best to have some type of positive influence and impact on somebody else's life. Those are not to be taken away from me. And there have been times that I have given some of that up willingly. Not because I didn't want them, because I didn't care, really because I didn't know better. I got maybe lazy and complacent, and so I lost some of that way. Lack of consistency has allowed me to lose some of those things. But again, it all came down to the choices I was making. And so as long as I am making good choices, I have those things to hang on to, and truly looking at the big picture of life. If I can stay positive, I'm not saying unrealistic. I'm saying grounded in reality, but positive, having a positive attitude. If I can strive to be as good of a leader as I can at home, at work, anywhere. And if I can keep my eyes open and truly try to add value to people's life so that I have the best chance of having a positive impact on somebody's life or having some type of positive influence on somebody, those things are invaluable. And I'm so thankful that I have them and nobody can take them away. So I'm going to leave you with that. I I'm ready to get rid of this. I'm ready to show up tomorrow with a good attitude and work on some discipline to stay away from the things that I could bring up or the things that I could get engaged in as far as conversation that will bring me back down that road. I am looking forward to the opportunity to work on that discipline, to bring myself back to where I need to be and make those choices, make those good choices. So thank you for spending your time with me today. Really appreciate it. This is pretty long for an episode of just myself, but I really felt like this is something that needed to be shared because it is something that I need to work out, and I know there's a lot of people out there feeling the same thing. So focus on what we can focus on. Make the impact that you can make in your small circles. Keep pushing positivity, and we will make a difference. We will make this world a better place, one little circle at a time. So, like I always say, or like I have said, remember that it doesn't matter where or what you come from. Great things can come from you. Thank you. See ya.